My dad was definitely my biggest role model, but it's been the most tough on my mom. We just made sure to be there for her and to let her know, like, you know, me and my brother are always gonna take care of her. And so me and my brother took over everything back home. We're just handling everything that my dad used to take care of that we didn't even know. Some days are better, but some days are also tough because you just miss him or think like, you know, it would be easier if he was around. I got into video games through my brother and my dad. My dad kind of supported both of our gaming habits, so he would buy us like the consoles. We didn't really start computer gaming until my dad had gotten Star Wars Rogue Squadron, I think, and he got a joystick. That was my first memory of playing like games on the computer, as far back as I can go. This game came out, like a little bonus game called Counter-Strike Source, and that was my introduction to like computer FPSs. Eventually I convinced my dad to buy me like a microphone headset so I could play with other people online, and that was like the start of my, I guess, journey in competitive gaming. My parents always supported my gaming, but the only thing they said was as long as I got good grades in school. But also, they obviously from health reasons or whatever, they didn't want me playing like 10 hours a day nonstop every day. So what I do is like, I would play during the day, and then when my dad would get back from work, I would hop off and like eat dinner with the family and then pretend like I wasn't playing all day. Be like, okay, I think I'm gonna play games now, and then hop back on, and then he'd go to bed and I'll hop off and say goodnight or whatever, and then late at night I'll hop back on again and play some more. 100% he knew. He definitely called me out on it years later. But I think at the end of the day, parents just want to see you happy. They made time to like enjoy like family time and together. Like we were really close family. Looking back, it seems like everything my parents did was just to make sure that we were happy and just enjoying life. Gaming was always just a hobby. Playing competitive leagues online and stuff was just a hobby until my junior year of college. The weekend before my finals, we went to a LAN tournament and we ended up upsetting Cloud9, which was like the only salary team at the time.
Can he go get it? He does, but does he have time? He's got the kid, he's on the bomb, and I'm not sure it's gonna be enough. It's not! Oh my goodness, on an absolute late play! Denial with the upset of the tournament are gonna take out C9.
That following day, they asked me to join their team. And that was like a huge life decision because if I would have to leave school, and in my mind, I had already made up that I was gonna try to do this because this is like what I worked towards for years. So I was really nervous when I called my parents, and I was so scared. I remember my voice was shaking and like I was like bracing myself for like, you know, like what, like it was always, gaming is fine as long as you do school. But as soon as these two are gonna conflict, I was very worried. And out of nowhere, my dad was like, go for it. He said, you know, in life, there are other ways to make money. School will always be there if you want to go back, but this, you know, this is a unique opportunity, and you should go for it. If you do it, but you should put your all into it as well. And that caught me off guard. Since I started traveling, you know, they were very excited to watch me, you know, even with my transition to VALORANT. From the very beginning, they got into VALORANT as well and started watching and supporting.
ShahZaM is feeling it. He's got no tailwind. You have to hit this shot, and he's gonna collapse! There's number 2 and 3.
Sentinels, the ability for them to make it to the main event of First Strike is just one map.
During the qualifications of First Strike, I found out that my family had gotten COVID, all of them, and they like self-quarantined in the house in separate rooms. It was a Friday morning that I was told that they took my dad to the hospital because his oxygen levels were low. So they took him real early that morning, and he's on a ventilator and he's doing fine. And I remember later that evening, I FaceTimed my dad. He was on the hospital bed. He had the mask on at the ventilator, I think, supporting his oxygen. And he was telling me, oh, he's like, you know, he's fine. Like, he's ready to get out. He'll probably be home tomorrow. Then after that FaceTime call later that night at like 4 a.m., my brother called me that and my dad went into cardiac arrest that night, and they had to move him to the ICU. And that I should probably get on the first flight home. So immediately after that phone call, I booked a flight. My family was still sick with COVID. So I ended up staying at a family friend's house, and I would go every day to my house, my parents' house, and then I would just sit in the driveway, like 10 feet away from them while they were sitting in the garage. And we set up heaters because it's really cold outside, and we would just chat all day, just talk, you know, comfort my mom, especially, you know, it was really tough for her. And we spent the week just every day. I would just go back and sleep at the family friend's house, and then come back and just sit in the driveway all day and just get updates on my dad's condition, you know. We would get good news and then some worse news, and then it looked like his body was recovering and things were getting better. It was gonna be a long process. They said that, you know, sometimes people are in there for a month while they recover, and it takes time, but he was like heavily sedated, so we didn't know fully. We couldn't talk to him or anything. My mom and my brother especially wanted me to do this, so I made the decision to play. They really wanted me to play because we worked up, you know, a long qualification process for this, and it's like, you know, the biggest tournament of the year. So I hopped on a flight back to Austin. It was a 4-hour flight, and I remember right when I got off the flight and I hopped in my Uber back to my apartment, my brother called me and said that my dad didn't make it. I mean, obviously it hit me right there, but I also just felt terrible that I wasn't there for like my mom and my brother when they did get this news out of nowhere that he didn't make it, so I wasn't there to be with them. But I remember just going back to my apartment and FaceTiming them and like breaking down and then booking the next flight immediately back home. So I just hopped back on another flight back home to be with my family. And then by that time they had the quarantine period was over, so I could at least be with my family, my brother, my mom. And then the day after the funeral, I flew back to Austin to just play First Strike. I flew back the right before First Strike, the day before the day of First Strike, and we went in. Obviously the guys were all really supportive, and they said, you know, let's just try our best, and you know, what happens will happens. Let's just get through this, and then I'm just gonna fly back home.
For everybody want to see ShahZaM on that big screen, and I'm ready.
Just keep
There's a lot committed to this round for Sentinels right here.
going strong.
Chuck it, just give it to me. They know he's in. All right, so they know how one's being played. This could actually be a spam in, but he's gonna take the shot towards Uber. Does he stop planning? No. ShahZaM's gonna plan. Has about 10 HP to his name. It's just gonna be a jumping classic. But ShahZaM gets the 3K, and now it's the 2v1. Ruckus goes down. ShahZaM comes up huge.
I know that my dad would have wanted me to play. Like, he was always the one that like supported me through my esports career, and I know for sure that if he could have told me in this situation if I should play, like he would have wanted me to go play and like not let my team down. I'm glad that like I decided to play.
Sentinels, they gave us a fight, but 100 Thieves are the team to come out on top.
Everyone I interacted with during that time period said that I was in shock. I wasn't even sure if I processed it at the time, and I definitely think so. It wasn't until I went back home that it really sunk in and started to affect me a lot. You feel kind of alone. You feel like it's the last thing you could possibly imagine. You know, you never imagine like losing a parent or someone really close to you. Like, you can't even comprehend it, and so you feel like people don't. At least in the moment, people didn't understand like exactly what I'm going through.
Just keep going strong.
He's on the bomb. Fighting against the They're gonna hold it. They're gonna get it.
Oh my God! It was just before it confused. You have to be out. They're gonna open this round up.
No way!
You are kidding me.
When I'm gone.
I made a tweet about my dad and saying that he was the most selfless person that I ever knew. I got so many DMs from people, at least 1,000, from fans, from other players I've played with or against, from people that work in the industry, just in general. Through that, I realized, like, you know, this is a part of life, and so many people have gone through similar things, whether it was with COVID or, you know, just losing a loved one to something else. And that definitely made me feel like I wasn't alone and people understood, and it just helped a ton.
Keep whatever it is, yeah.
And ShahZaM running in the back of the site. They have to get in. They have to take him out. He gets 2, looking for a 3rd. Here's the charge, and he's gonna find Boost.
Waves of emotion.
My dad would do everything for us, would never ask for anything from us. Whether it was birthday or anything, whether I wanted to get him something nice or give him anything, he would always say no, and then, you know, say, or do this for your mom. My dad seemed to always be for everyone else and do for everyone else, and make sure that everyone else was okay and didn't have to worry. And so he was definitely the most selfless person that I ever knew. I try to be just like him, whether it's work, teammates, friends. You know, people would ask me, like, how are you always so happy all the time or smiling a lot and stuff? And it's literally like how my dad was. Like, I got it all from my dad.